Tara walked in after a days of working at the castle. The castle has a winding pathway with the town on either side about 5 to 10 miles away from the entrance. She walked in and saw her dad working on his next architecture project, piecing together wood and plastic to create a model for the new castle. Her brother Trevor was already there. He had finished his day early. Trevor was birthed to her family as a gift from her oversoul deity, the fox spirit. She thought back to that day he was born. She was 10 at the time. During the birth, her deity visited her. She was mad at him because she was so weak. "I want to rule this world, Fox. How can I do that when I'm in this weak form?" Exclamation mark quote. The fox spirit was omniscient and omnipotent. He thought for a minute. "Well, I can't help you, but what I can do is give your younger sibling the gift of power." After that he was gone and her brother was born soon later. He came into reality without much incident. But she knew how powerful he was. The deity had never lied to her. Today was the day they would finally gain power of the throne. She looked at him and saw recognition in his eyes. They ate lunch with their family until it got late into the afternoon. "Mother, Father, I must take Trevor with me to the castle soon. He must be given a new job." At first they were surprised, though they knew that the industrialists changed the jobs frequently. They agreed to let them go. In the months before this they had planned the strategy for today. Trevor used his clairvoyant powers to look for the perfect time for Tara to take the throne. "You will have to be in the castle by the time the resistance breaks through." He lets her know after his eyes return to normal. "I will assist the resistors while you make your way to the castle." "Okay," Tara said, "I will do that." Finally it's time for them to go. Outside the castle, Tara hops on Trevor's back. He's able to travel at speeds beyond measure. They make it to the castle soon after. They cloak as they get closer to the castle. Trevor, invisible and intangible, walks through the castle door without gaining any notice. The attack will happen soon. Just wait here for an hour. Post-attack. Now Tara takes the throne to sit and think. The fox deity has been true to his word. Trevor supplies her with enough power to easily take over the castle. Everyone in town heard about the coup at the castle. None of the people expected that it could happen. They have been under the thumb of the industrialists for 1,000 years. Now finally King Yule is dead and their town is free. Tara's dad Don can barely believe his ears. He would lose his socks if he also learns that it's his daughter Tara who dealt the final blow. Tara was born a weak child. All the selective peasant breeding the industrialists put their people through had weakened their genetics. Tara health suffered for it. Though they have always taken good care of her, her health is not in the best condition. Her skin is pale and burns easy and her body is small and fragile. As the shock wears off a bit, Don and Mary, his wife, prepares to go to the castle to see what will become of their life. They both dress in their best attire and starts the long journey up to the castle. Tara steps up from the throne. Many of the peasants in the castle wait silently at the bottom steps of the throne. She motions for Trevor to come close. "I need a plan, brother. When Mother and Father come here they will hardly believe what has happened." Although Tara is well aware of her brother's advanced abilities, their parents are clueless. Trevor looks at his sister, her face creased with worry. "Don't worry, sister, I shall be sure to make a plan before then. In fact, I'm already halfway done planning one." He smiles at her brightly, one of the few that he gives anyone, really. "Well, here it is, sister. You shall tell our parents the fox deity has chosen you as the ruler." The peasants have a long-standing superstition. Their constellations are littered with patterns of what they call deities. Tara was born under the light of the fox deity constellation. Trev continues, "Tell them that the armor magically bonded to you and the fox deity himself ordered that you take the throne." He finishes with a sly smile. Tara smiles as well. "You are right, brother. If the fox deems it, they surely won't question." Castle. During the next 6 hours, Tara takes control of the remaining staff of the castle, directing them to consider her the new ruler. "I am Tara of the constellation Fox. I'm here to take over, the new ruler of the island." Some of them protest, wondering why it is she who will rule. "I'm the one who killed Yule," she protests, "therefore I am naturally the default choice," she reasons slyly. Some of them mutter their agreement, others are silent. The last king was a strict monarchist, not allowing even a clergy among the enslaved inhabitants. Their sole bloodline was the one who ruled. Now one of the slaves will be known as supreme ruler. This was a radical turn of events. None of them questioned her fighting ability, however that was the least of the worries. Now the castle didn't have a leader. They tried their best to cope with the loss of the king. "For now we act as we usually would, bring food to the foyer and keep the halls clear." The The only thing they needed was Tara's approval of the plans. She agreed though opted for regular food rather than the usual gourmet. She was 26, she spent 10 years working in the castle, so she knew a few things of how it was run. It was her turn to sit at the feast. The wait was slow as she was lost in thought at the top of the throne. All of the peasants would be coming to meet the new ruler. Attack! During the final blows Tara dealt to King Yule, her brother Trevor stepped in and intervened. He slowed down time to a near standstill and isolates Yule so they could speak. Yule, I have a proposition for you. You can die here in this castle or you can choose to restart your life on a clean slate in another reality other than this one. Your karma will be wiped clear and you will be able to lead a new life in this world. Trevor opened up a pocket dimension to another reality, one where the people were not as oppressed and the realm is totally run by Trevor and the fox deity. You can live here, Yule, or die right here. The choice is yours. Trevor's black hair falls over his face, making him look like the Undertaker. Trevor's black eyes stares deeply into Yule's green ones, waiting for his answer. Yule's face is full of panic and a slight hint of recognition. Yule recognizes this is his chance to get off scot-free. The kingdom, his relatives, will be all gone, however he would live on without their knowledge that he is even still alive. Yule looks Trevor in the eye and replies, "Okay, I will accept your deal." "Excellent," Trevor says while a black smoke starts to cover Yule's body. He suddenly isn't so aware of the pain he got from the chest wound Tara was currently inflicting on him. Only the black smoke lets him know that he has any feeling in his body. The smoke feels oddly soothing, only a little painful, like a blanket wrapped tight on his body. Suddenly his body starts disappearing altogether. The leader of the resistors leads their full-scale attack on the lead industrialist castle. They were attacking King Yule's territory. They had guided laser beam technology that would rain down fire over the castle, while they dropped in from the air and through the front door. As they get close, their flying machines stay high so the guards doesn't see them. Once the sky laser drops down and opens up the castle, they will beam down and begin the attack. Their underground resistance base is miles away. Near the far west ocean, they've had to go underground to hide from the industrialist enemies. Now is their time to strike back at them. Tara and Trevor wait patiently in the castle looking for the cue. The resistance attack has started. Not much longer, Tara. They should be doing it soon. She sits secured on his back, holding his neck for support. "All right, brother." Suddenly the castle rocks when a big boom comes out of nowhere along with a loud burning sound. The guards start running towards the noise. Trevor takes this as his cue and starts walking further in. "We will have to split up eventually," he says, walking through people and even doors. "You will have to quickly get to the throne room and defeat King Yule before the resistance can do it," he tells her, finally lowering her down to the floor. "I have to go help the resistance, otherwise they won't survive." He walks away, then saying good luck before he is gone. Tara is ready for this moment. She has a sword that Trevor created for her, which is enchanted and grants her ability of master swordsman and armor to protect her and give her weak body strength. She sprints for the throne room. The resistance breaks through a hole made in the middle of the castle. Half go back to open the castle doors while the rest move forward to battle the waves of guards inside the castle. They chop through the first wave with their laser weapons. Though they are ambushed deeper into the castle in the huge foyer where the laser weapon had blown through. They take cover from the heavy fire and fight back as hard as they can. Unfortunately, they can't help but have casualties. Trevor makes it to the scene after the ambush. The resistors are behind the foyer entrance, shooting as best they can. Though they are being blasted with heavy weapons that have disintegrated a few of them already. Now Trevor casts a spell of misfortune upon the industrialist troops. This causes them to have disastrous domino effect, which wipes out most of their front line. "Yes," T says, "now Tara, all you have to do is get in there and do your thing." King Yule sits on his throne listening to the battle inside the castle. His royal guards are at attention at the bottom of the throne. Suddenly a figure appears in the entrance. "King Yule, I've come to kill you and take the throne," the small figure says in a loud voice. King Yule chuckles, saying, "Pitiful thing, you won't even make it to my step." He then waves for his guards to attack it. Then the figure does a sword dance that would make anyone envious, dismembering two guards and nearly killing another. She fights for a few more minutes, able to best 7 of his guards quickly. "All right," he stands, walking forward, grabbing his sword. "I will battle you now, then let them through." At his word, the rest of the guards step aside, letting them walk through. Trevor stands at the door as his sister walks up the throne to battle King Yule. "I will have the throne," she says as they begin their sword battle. "You will pry it from my dead corpse," Yule replies the battle rages for almost 2 minutes before Yule realizes his sister is too much for him. What a gifted swordsman. He finally says, "Are you sure you don't want to join my side?" She battles him to his knees, then screams in a loud voice, "This is our land," plunging the sword through his chest. As Trevor walks into the throne room, Tara plunges the final blow on King Yule. She screams the words out as she deals the finishing blow. Right behind Trevor is the survivors of the resistors. They see as Tara takes the life of the king. In a split second just before Yule passes away, something happens that's too fast to see. Yule whimpers, saying, "I don't want to die." Trevor appears next to him like a grim reaper. "I can arrange that." Time stopped around them. He puts his hand on Yule's forehead and does a magical spell, and Yule's soul leaves his body just before death. Next, Trevor is again at the bottom of the throne steps. Looking at his sister, the leader of the resistance speaks up. "Well, they beat us to the punch," he says through a smile. Tara looks down, holding the bloody sword with red smeared all over her steel-silver armor. She walks down to meet the resistor leader, and he meets her halfway. She speaks first. "I'm taking over this castle. This was my victory. This is my city." The leader introduces as Roger. "Well, that is true. I shall let you claim your spoils of war." He looks around as the other guards drop their weapons and surrender. "You have your work cut out for you. We will see each other again." He speaks into a radio on his uniform, then minutes later a light beams them outside the room. Part 2. Their parents slowly walk through the castle gates. Rob and Mary look around in shock as they see the guards are no longer trying to keep them out. Most of the guards have been killed. The rest now help the peasantry, dumping bodies and repairing the castle. It all looks surreal to them. They were born at the beginning of the Second Industrial Age. After the resistance had died down and the Industrial Age was in full swing. They never could have guessed they would be guests at the castle manor. Inside is spacious, a huge hallway leading deeper into the castle. Straight through the hallway leads to the middle foyer of the castle. This is where most decrees are held. They shuffle along to the foyer, immediately seeing remnants of the battle inside. The walls inside the hallway littered with holes and burns from laser guns. Tara walks in the foyer covered in blood and cuts from battle. She looks out at the people filling the corridor and begins her rehearsed speech. "Hello, loyal subjects. Today is the day we retake our homeland from the industrialist nobility. They have ruled over us with an iron fist for thousands of years, and now it is time that we put them in their place." She holds up her sword and smiles broadly as the peasants cheer and watch in shock and bewilderment. Trevor is at the foot of the staircase leading down into the foyer. When his parents see him, he walks towards them to give them updates. Tara continues, "We will no longer tolerate oppressive monarchies that oppress and destroy our planet. The deities themselves have seen fit to intervene on our behalf. The fox spirit came to me recently and imbued me with the power to overthrow and also the knowledge of when to act." She drops her sword and looks out into the crowd determinedly. "On this day I crown myself the new ruler of this land. I, Tara, born of the age of the fox deity, now solemnly accept responsibility to protect and guide this land and people as long as I can." The peasants murmur a bit before they slowly bow to the new queen of their land, all except her parents. They look on in wonder and shock as their 26-year-old daughter takes over as royalty to their town. Nothing could have prepared them for something like this. After all, Tara is very fragile and doesn't do any sword training. However, they slowly take a knee, not wanting to disrespect the fox deity. Deities are notorious for creating royalty, and if Tara says that's who raised her to the throne, there isn't much they can do about it. Trevor kneels next to the foyer looking out at the crowd, his omniscience kicking and showing him the next 72 hours in great detail. Many of the villagers have accepted the deity story, though some plot for the throne nonetheless. Though none are a serious threat to Tara. Once they see what they have planned, no one will dare to step up against Tara. Some of them are planning to besiege the fox deity to pick a new ruler. Tara isn't ideal by their standards, and they want someone more healthy and older as the ruler. However, Tara is very intelligent and not many can best her in strategy. She will become a great ruler. Trevor knows this. They just have to plan for the best while waiting out the doubt of the townspeople. Tara sits at the top of the throne worrying about the state of affairs of the kingdom. Will they accept Tara as their new leader? Trevor stands right next to her, not worried. In fact, his abilities give him knowledge of the future. He can see how the citizens below the castle have taken to a new leader. Many of them celebrate going to taverns to drink, while the more modest and timid citizens playing it safe and act as if nothing happened. There are a few of them who are plotting mutiny, but since they don't know the future and what will happen if Tara is dethroned, they decide to play it safe for the time being as well. Trevor is satisfied with these turn of events. At this rate, Terra will be too strong to overthrow. Trevor has knowledge from planets and even universes. He has exactly what he needs to win the war against the industrialist. With the arrival of the resistance, he knows that the other castle's citizens will be on high alert. Pending retaliation from the industrialists' inner circle, keeping their minds busy as they contemplate what freedom will bring them should they succeed in taking over all 3 other islands. The industrialist empire, spanning over 90% of the planet's 6 continents, 4 of the biggest ones under industrialist control, well, 3 now actually. Terra and Trevor's continent is one of the bigger ones. The land is mostly polluted with factories and steel buildings takes up most of the land on the continents. The smog of the factories and buildings darkens the sky. This is one reason the planet's local deity gets involved in the affairs on the Earth. The resistors to the industrialists have only been recently working with the local planet deity named 11.